Wakeboarding is one of the most fun sports in the world, but unfortunately it's not very well known. For the small crowd that participates in this incredible sport, it's great because although it can be tricky to get the hang of, it can definitely be enjoyed at a beginner level, but can also be taken all the way up to pro. There's a wide variety of tricks that can be done on a wakeboard, making it competitive and never dull. This is David O.C. He's a professional wakeboarder and is demonstrating several advanced tricks. This is a Slim Chance 540. This is a Heelside BS 720. Although this is what wakeboarding looks like today, it hasn't always been like this. Wakeboarding originally started with something called the Scurfer, which was invented by Tony Finn in 1985. It was a mix between a water ski and a surfboard, and was a creative way to keep surfing while the waves were down. Eventually, it morphed into what we know today as wakeboarding. So this is a surfboard, and you can tell it kind of looks like a surfboard in the fact that it's pointed at the top here, and then it's flat in the back, but it has bindings on it, and the bindings are further back on the board, so it's kind of the same way that you would ride a surfboard, whereas modern wakeboards have them more in the middle of the board. And it looks sort of like the original surfboards, but this is what the original ones look like. So you can tell that it's a little bit different, but the concept is the same. And then this is what a modern wakeboard looks like. And you can see that it's different, but it's got the same concepts, but it is a symmetrical board, so the ends are both flat, and the boots are placed right in the middle of the board. And this one is actually completely symmetrical. You can see that the fins on the bottom here are the exact same, so this allows you to be able to do 180s and switch from goofy to regular in the water. Unlike this board, which it's got the same shape, and the boots are placed in the middle, but on this side, the fin looks a lot different. It's bigger and it allows this board just to be more stable, but you can't do 180s on it. So if you have a goofy rider, you'd have to switch the bindings around, and you can't flip from goofy to regular in the water at all. So it just depends on what kind of riding you're doing, what kind of board you want. There's also another kind of board, which is a cable board. So if you're not riding a wakeboard behind a boat, but you're riding it in a cable park, they don't actually have fins on the bottom at all because they have ramps in the water, so you don't want to get it caught on a ramp, so you don't really need fins at all. So that allows you just to be able to do tricks in the cable park. So the three different types of boards that I described to you being these two boards, which are for boats, and then a cable board. The main differences in these three that are just the fins that I talked about, but there's also all sorts of differences in like the actual shape of the board. But there's all sorts of different things that you can customize for your board. So these are just the main differences in what the different kind of fins can do. This is Sean Murray. He's an American wakeboarder from California and is considered one of the greatest wakeboarders of all time. Throughout his career, he's won several competitions, including 4 World Wakeboarding Championships. He's the only rider ever to hold World, Pro Tour, and National Champion titles at once. Murray was also the first wakeboarder to successfully land a 900. Today, he continues to ride and works as a wakeboarding coach and is arguably one of the best coaches in the sport. He also posts weekly videos on YouTube about wakeboarding. Before you can even start riding, a key concept is the fact that the wakeboard itself is less dense than the water, and this is what gives it the ability to float. And it allows the wakeboard to already be above the water when you're trying to get up. Another important concept to understand is center of gravity. The center of gravity is the average location of the weight of an object. Manipulating your center of gravity while wakeboarding is how you turn and will affect the speed with which you enter the wake and the height that you can jump. Once you're on the water, the two main forces that most influence the way the wakeboard moves are the resistance or drag that the board encounters when moving through the water and the tension of your rope. Tension is a reaction force. It's directly related to how much force is applied to a rope. The harder you pull on a rope, the higher the tension and the more force the rope exerts on you. In order to keep your wakeboard afloat, you need the tension from the rope to counteract the pull of gravity and stop you from breaking through the water's surface tension. The rope's tension can also give you additional speed. If you lean back, causing the rope to stretch a little further, you apply more force to the rope, and it simultaneously applies more force on you. On the other hand, if you come out of a carve too fast, all the tension on the rope will disappear, causing slack, which makes doing any tricks impossible. To combat this, we do what's called a progressive edge. It's where you come out of a carve slower, as shown, and progressively goes faster as to not lose tension on the rope. Although the physics of wakeboarding may sound complicated, once you get the hang of it, it can be an exciting and enjoyable sport for everyone.